Welcome to Event Planning Training with the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership Development. Event Planning Training, or EPT, provides members of student organizations with all the skills and strategies they will need to plan great events for the students of Worcester State University. The most important thing to know when it comes to planning events is that we're not just leaving you on your own. Every single student organization is assigned a program coordinator, a member of the professional staff in the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership Development, who's here to help you along every single step of the way in order to make sure that you plan the best event possible. You can view the program coordinator list to find out which program coordinator is going to work with your student organization. Well, your advisor is someone who attends weekly meetings, helps you come up with ideas and plans for events, and attends those events. Your program coordinator is there to help you with the back-end paperwork, things like making sure the event clearance form is completed and contracts are done correctly. Your program coordinator is a valuable resource, so feel free to reach out to them with any questions that you have at any step of the event planning process. It's important to keep your program coordinator updated on anything that your student organization is working on, so they can help you make sure that all of the steps are being followed correctly. The Office of Student Involvement and Leadership Development, or OSILD, provides a variety of resources and supports for our student organizations. We are located on the second floor of the Student Center and are available Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are a variety of resources available for student organizations within OSILD. These include organization mailboxes, which should be checked weekly for updates and information, as well as hard copies of all of our student leader handbooks, Synergy, Synergy for Club Sports, and Synergy for Starting a New Student Organization. OSILD is also home to the Wall of Forms, where you can find hard copies of many of the forms you need to complete for events and when making club purchases. Many of our forms are available online at lead.worcester.edu/forms, including the event clearance form, request for purchase, and trip proposal. This website also includes a variety of resources for student organizations, including the planning calendar, approved vendors list, and tips for promoting your event. On average, an event can take 8 to 10 weeks to plan. This includes steps like brainstorming the event, making sure you have an event plan, publicizing the event, coordinating details, and everything else that needs to be done in order to ensure a successful event. This training will focus on the details that you need to know in order to complete steps 2 through 6 of the event planning process. The first step in planning an event is deciding which type of event to host. Common event types include performances, lectures, novelty or DIY events, and game shows. Brainstorm with your members to determine what event you think would work best for the students you are trying to engage. If it's an event your members are interested in planning, then it's probably an event students will want to go to. After determining the type of event, meet with your program coordinator to choose a date and a location. Campus spaces can book quickly, so the sooner you meet with your program coordinator to reserve a room, the better. It's important to remember to choose a date that works for your members. You're going to want them to help when the event day arrives. Now that you know the basics about your event, it's time to determine your budget. This means you need to sit down as a group and decide how much money you're going to spend on all different aspects of your event. Everything from a speaker, performer, artist, to food, giveaways, and decorations. If you determine that you do need additional funding, you're able to get that through co-sponsorships with other student organizations or offices, or by completing an additional allocation. An additional allocation is a form submitted to Senate when you need to ask for additional funds for an event or program. Senate will then determine your need and decide whether or not to award you these additional funds. Next is completing the event clearance form, which is the most important form to fill out for any event. The event clearance form is available online at lead.worcester.edu/forms and is the form you use to submit all the information for your event. This includes where the event is located and how you want the room set up, whether or not you need AV or special equipment, a short event description, and your contact information. You need to provide as many details as possible. Depending on the event, your program coordinator might need to complete an additional form for approval with the university. This form needs to be approved by your program coordinator prior to requesting any contracts or promoting an event. We recommend that you complete the event clearance form 3 weeks or more in advance of your event. The earlier you fill it out, the better. Once your event clearance form has been approved, you can move forward with the event planning process. For groups who are working with vendors, this means you are free to request contracts. The contract request process can be new for many of our students, so if you need help at any time, or if you need advice with how to work with a vendor or an agent, please feel free to reach out to your program coordinator. Agents should always be contacted initially on the phone. It's much easier to have a conversation with them than email back and forth. You can feel free to negotiate a price for services with your agent, and make sure that you don't make a verbal agreement unless you are 100% sure and have been approved by your program coordinator. It's important that you have a discussion with the agent about any COVID policies that they may have. How are they providing a safe atmosphere? What requirements do they need from us? Is there a rescheduling policy or a cancellation policy if the university is to close or to reduce the amount of people who are at an event? You can feel free to reach out to your program coordinator and involve them in this conversation. Once you've formally requested a contract from a vendor or an agent, please send this contract to your advisor and meet with your program coordinator to review all of the contract details and determine what we can and cannot provide. Worcester State University does require that we complete a contract rider, which protects the university from things that might not be listed in the vendor's contract itself. In the case that your vendor does not have their own contract, we do have blank contracts that can be filled out. Some important things to remember is that no payment is made until services have been completed. It's important that your vendor knows this. After the contract has been requested, it's time to work on additional event details. Many student groups choose to provide food at their events. Food at events must be purchased through Chartwells, the on-campus dining provider. If you would like to order food, you must complete a food form at least 7 business days ahead of your event and turn it in to your program coordinator. The food form, as well as a special menu for student organizations, can be found in the wall of forms. You can also request special menu items by emailing the catering office at catering@worcester.edu. A majority of food orders placed for student groups require that a member pick the food up at a campus dining location on the day of the event. Make sure you note this information when preparing. This is also the time when you would complete the OSILD promo form. This promo form is where you would fill out any information you have for your event. Completing the OSILD promo form means that your event will be included in OSILD Weekly, which is emailed out every single Monday to all students. It will be included in the Lancer News, which is printed and hung around campus, and it will be included on all OSILD social media. Lastly, if you need to place any orders for your event, for things like t-shirts, giveaways, or any other items you may need, it's important that you fill out a request for purchase. This can be found online. Orders always take a little bit of extra time, so make sure that you complete this well in advance of your event date. Now that you've completed all the necessary paperwork, it's time to start creating your advertising. We encourage all groups to come up with a promo plan. This can include social media promotion, posters, flyers, word of mouth, any way that you can get the word out about your event. If you need to make copies of any of your flyers or print posters, you would do so at the resource room. You can email any requests to resourceroom@worcester.edu. All copies are free for student groups. Posters are a small fee which can be charged to your student organization. There are a few final steps to make sure that your event is successful. For in-person events, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you recruit volunteers because you're going to need help at your event. Once you have your volunteers, make sure they know what time to arrive to the event. New this year, you're going to need to make sure to pick up our new COVID event kit. This kit includes cleaning supplies, signage, as well as a sign-in list, and you're required to use this for any in-person event. If supplies are running low in the kit, please let us know and we'd be happy to replenish them. You can pick up the event kit 15 minutes prior to your on-campus event in OSILD. A sign-in list is included in the COVID event kit in order to help the university with contact tracing. In the event a student does test positive for COVID-19, we want to make sure that we can find any students who may have interacted with them. This sign-in sheet should be turned into OSILD at the conclusion of your event. If you're hosting a virtual event, please make sure to log in early in order to prepare your online space. Also, make sure you share your Zoom link with those students who are attending. Following your event, there are a couple things that we would encourage you to do. First, we hope you evaluate your event. Talk with your group members about what went well, what didn't, whether or not you would bring the event back, and make sure to jot these notes down for the future. Also, make sure that your treasurer completes any of the necessary financial paperwork. The important form here is the check request voucher, which also can be found online at lead.worcester.edu/forms. There are a few last-minute tips we want to give you for certain events. First of all, movies. In the event you are having an on-campus movie showing, make sure you talk with your program coordinator to make sure that you purchase the rights to the movie. Groups that are planning on having a fundraiser or a raffle, make sure you complete a fundraising form ahead of your event. By completing a fundraising form, we can make sure that you have a cash box in order to collect funds. Any money that you raise in a fundraiser goes right into your organization's line 99 and can be used for a variety of different purchases. If you're interested in holding a raffle, that does take a couple extra steps, so you'll have to work with institutional advancement. Your program coordinator can help you with that. Gift cards are a great prize to give away at different events. In order to purchase a gift card, you do need to complete a request for purchase and a gift card form at least a month in advance. In addition to on-campus events, student organizations can also choose to host off-campus trips. Planning a trip requires a lot of work and you need to plan far in advance. If you are interested in hosting a trip, make sure to contact your program coordinator for more details. They will set up a meeting with you to discuss all of the paperwork that must be completed and assist with booking any travel arrangements. And that's most of what you need to know to plan a successful event with your student organization. We know that planning an event can be overwhelming, especially if it's something that you haven't done before. So remember that your program coordinator and the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership Development are here to help you. If you ever have questions about anything related to planning an event, let us know. You can reach out to your program coordinator directly, or you can email us at studentinvolvement@worcester.edu.